So we'd like take a picture of him and his buddy and I all sitting on the couch together, and I posted it on Instagram with the caption, Netflix and chilling with my cousin.
No way.
Because
Oh,
I didn't know what it meant.
no way.
Oh,
You're like, what in the sweet home, Alabama, Mormon? Welcome to our podcast.
welcome to Tapestry Tea Time.
Welcome to Tapestry Tea Time. This is
Yeah.
our first episode. It's official. We are now baby podcasters.
Yeah, together. We're in this one way or the other.
Yeah.
Stuck with me.
You're in a cape.
Yeah.
I'm in a vest, so we're filming this. Gosh darn it.
We have an LLC together. We're in this.
Yeah. So Esther approached me to ask me to be in this podcast, but she was approached by
Tommy Moore, he does our amazing production here at the
yes
studio.
for about a year.
Yeah, he's
right?
been bugging me for about a year to do a podcast.
So
And just, never, the stars didn't align. And then they did. And here we are.
and here we are.
Yeah.
So tell me though, what I know, but our listeners don't know. Right?
Yeah.
So what is it that we're gonna do in this podcast? You know, give us a little tea.
What are we trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
I say maybe let's start with what we're not trying to accomplish.
Okay. Good idea.
I think for me, I don't think I'm trying to prove that there's one right way to approach your art. One way, right way.
Run right,
Go-
right.
Yeah. That there's one way to approach your spiritual life. I feel like there's so many boxes that I've been handed throughout my life of
Yeah.
like, here, fit yourself in this nice little neat box.
Yeah.
And I was a gangly kid, literally, metaphorically.
Mhm.
I
Same.
never fit into the boxes. So yeah, just trying to create a cozy space where we can all be here together and recognize that we don't need to fit into those little tiny boxes.
Period. I completely agree. I think one thing that I'm definitely not trying to do is I don't want to become like a lifestyle influencer or
What?
like a I know.
But like capes.
I know. Okay.
I would
this
very
is
much
the one
like-
thing I will influence you on.
Yes.
Everyone should wear vests and capes.
Yes. And all the men should wear tight vest, poofy sleeves.
Yes.
This is our agenda.
Yes. If you've never seen, what was that show you showed me? Grantchester. right?
Grantchester.
Yes.
Yes.
If you've never seen Grantchester, look it up. That's a male style guide to success. Okay. So let's get it together, boys. Also,
Looks maxing last year.
yes.
Grantchester this year.
This year. Potentially with eyeliner.
Yeah.
Men. If you have
Okay.
the complexion for it. I feel like the goal of this podcast is to bring women's stories to the forefront, right?
Mhm.
Women have been obviously here since the dawn of time, since the dawn of humanity, right?
Essential to human living. Who'd have
Yes,
thought?
so central to human living. And yet, where are our stories?
I, as an artist, I often incorporate fiber arts in reference in my work, not always
Mhm.
directly, but like looking at things like fabric patterns and quilting for that very reason. Because so often the fiber arts in history have been relegated to a secondary station. That's, when you talk about fine art, we're talking about oil painting, we're talking about sculpture, these very male-centric mediums, versus tapestry or embroidery or rug making or something else that's often more of a female-centric medium. And so I love playing and kind of pushing with those boundaries and asking about where our visual culture comes from, who made it, how we credit it. And so that's kind of a nod in the name of like, where are these threads coming from? Who made them? Who crafted them? How are they influencing our daily life, our environment?
I love that, right? Because like society puts the importance
Mhm.
on, on those other forms of media, right? Society decides what's important, basically. So we're trying to help construct, I guess, a different future, right? Where everything is important, whether you be male, female, anything in between.
Yeah, all the threads matter. So why tea time? Why are we calling it tea time?
Tea time. It's tea time because we like to gossip.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty, but this is positive gossip because we're talking about things that matter.
Yes.
Okay.
And not specific people.
Yes, not specific people. These are specific
Just spicy ideas.
ideas. Yes, exactly. And, we water it down with some tea and good vibes. So,
A little bit of sugar, a little bit of spice.
Yes.
All of the above.
Yes.
Gonna jump back a little bit. Fiber arts. What is like an iconic piece of fiber art you've interacted with in your life? Like what's a moment where like that thing?
I mean, I feel like this is maybe No, I'm gonna own this answer because I think fiber art is freaking awesome. It's the unicorn, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I don't even know how they did that. I had
Yeah.
a little fork loom when I was like 3 years old. No, older than that. I couldn't do anything with forks when I was 3 years old. I had to be like probably 8. Okay, that's way older than 3. Anyway, I like those like, fork looms or whatever where
Uh-huh.
like you have the threads in between the two forks and like you weave stuff and I wove some bookmarks. And yeah, I mean, I have no idea how you create such a beautiful work of art with like such a recognizable image on it
Mhm.
made out of fibers. Like that's insane. So yeah, every time I see that, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing."
Meticulous planning it
Yeah,
takes to
it's
create
in-
something like that.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't be me.
Yeah. I think for me, I went on a folk dance trip when I was in college, and I remember standing in line for dinner one day, and we were behind, I think it was the group from Albania, and they were wearing these, maybe it was Croatia, but they were wearing these embroidered vests. It was like leather and like pieces of fabric, and then layers upon layers of knotted embroidery work and beadwork.
Ooh.
And you could just tell every single square inch took hours.
Oh my gosh.
And it was, obviously a family heirloom. And, um, you know, the men and women who were wearing this, like it was probably their mother or sister or someone, grandmother, aunt who'd made this at some point, all clearly hand done materials. I just loved the idea that they were wearing something that was so invested in by people that cared about them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that's often missing from today's world, that
Mhm.
everything is just, it's fast, it's consumer focused.
Yeah.
And, call me superstitious, but I feel like when we have objects that have had human touch, they carry something with them.
Yeah.
And so something that took hundreds of hours to make, like that, there's a power to that.
100%.
Even if it's just the power of the narrative that somebody cared enough to create something that commemorated their culture
Yeah.
and was a valuable object to be passed down through the family. And it's that idea of like, how do we just eh, focus intention and time and resources into something that communicates our narratives, our stories, our things that are important.
I love that. Oh, you're so insightful. This is why I'm doing this with you. We had this really fun idea that if you want, feel free to share maybe your experiences as a woman. We know that being a woman comes with a plethora of very interesting experiences. So, whether that be funny, whether it be something personal or vulnerable, feel free to share it with us. We will open it, read it here, and just have a little bit of, we're going to share the tea. We're going to share
Yeah.
some tea about you and about your experience. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Vicariously join our tea party.
yes. But speaking of tea, so obviously our listeners, a lot of them don't know us yet.
Mm.
So tell us what kind of tea you would be. What kind of drink would you be?
I feel like I would be,
These are our vibes.
yeah, I'd be a roasted barley tea.
Okay,
So
love barley.
it's an Asian tea, which like obviously Asian roots. And then I feel like if you were to see barley tea, it looks just like coffee.
hmm hmm
And as a Latter-day Saint, as a Mormon, like, we don't drink coffee. And so I like the idea of like I look rebellious from far away, and then you get up close and I'm maybe not as rebellious as you think I am. Because I feel like that's the story of my life. People think I'm crazier than I am. Maybe I'm crazy. Who knows?
Well, you're crazy. You're a flavor of crazy I enjoy. So
Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
As long as it's mutually beneficial, right?
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's milky brown.
I love it. Just like you.
Yep.
Just like you.
Half white, half brown.
Yeah, me too. But my tea is pretty white. I'm not gonna lie. I thought of I was like, I feel like I'm like lemon and ginger tea.
But spicy, but like you've got a bite. Like you've
Exactly.
got the Latina bite to you.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you put honey in, and like I'm kind of sweet. I'm a little tart, but I'm also yeah. I'll bite
Yeah.
if you bite
But
at
I also
me.
feel like it's the reality check someone needs. Like, when I'm
Mm-hmm.
sick, like I need that punch in the face to get me
Mm-hmm.
better. And you're the type of friend that it's like, if I'm being stupid, you punch me in the face to make me better.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think we should bring back shame to the society. Just a
That's a
healthy
different
dose. Yeah.
episode.
No, no. And I'm here to provide. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, no. Yeah. I just really like it. And I love that it's like a wellness tea that makes
Uh-huh.
you, better and stuff. And obviously, always striving to be better, always striving to maintain that wellness. So, but yeah.
So how do
So,
we meet? What's
how
our
did
origin
this barley
story?
tea and how did
Yeah.
this
How did this tea party get
they met in a
started?
bar. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, but it's actually a really great non-joke,
Yeah.
how we met.
So my very brief and from the outside possibly inappropriate sounding version of how we met is that her husband has great abs.
He does have great abs.
Yep. And I called her and said, "Hey, somebody told me that your husband has great abs, and I would like to pay to take pictures of your husband's great abs." So there you go. There's my very bad telling of how
I'm
we're
gonna
friends.
let me smooth this over and explain that in these pictures, you actually didn't get to see any abs. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I wish that the
For your
whole world,
sake. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, what happened was, so Esther got this amazing opportunity to illustrate Isles of the Emberdark, which
Mhm.
is Brandon Sanderson's newest novel. And right,
Oh,
yeah,
not anymore
not
because
anymore. Yeah, never
the
mind.
man writes like nothing
At
else.
this time, at the time,
It's 2 or
his
3 novels
newest
ago.
novel. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Mm.
But yeah, so she got that commission and she needed someone, to model for Six of the Dusk. And mutual friend of ours, Howard Lyon, he's an awesome artist. If you know him, to know him is to love him.
Mhm.
And he went ahead and put us in contact. And so I went and modeled for Vati, right, a character in the book,
Mhm.
and then Posse was Six of the Dusk. And I remember when I first met you, I mean, Esther is very like business, and when she's in a business face,
I get
like business
locked
face,
in.
yeah, she's locked in.
The
So
RBF.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I remember I showed up, and I remember that you had us come in early, just like for a little fitting, just a costume fitting,
Uh-huh.
and so Posse and I were both there. My husband's name is Posse. We were both there, and we went in for the fitting, and you had us in and out, and we just like we left, and Posse was like, "I don't think she likes us." I was like, "I don't think she likes us either." It's like, darn it, what did we do? But no, then you get to know Esther, and yeah, she's actually really awesome. She
I
just
just
has,
consistently overbook myself and have to be busy.
yes, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
She's in her thoughts, guys. She's getting stuff done. But yeah, I guess after that we started. I did an artist residency with you. Started working for the social media for the gallery, and as I say, the rest is history. And now we're
Mhm.
starting a podcast together. So
Yep.
yeah,
So now we're really permanently gonna be on the internet together whether we like it or not.
yeah, and it's mostly we like you guys.
Yeah.
Do we like the internet? I don't know.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
The Sanderson part of the internet's pretty great, I will
No,
say.
that's 1000% true. That is an amazing side of the internet to be on.
It's so good. But yeah, one of the other things that like got us thinking we should do a podcast is as we got to be friends, like we have all these weird Venn diagram overlaps, and we kind of joke in some ways we're the same person. Really not the same person. We have some great differences
Yeah.
as well.
We
But
do get to confused for each other though,
yes,
all the time.
constantly.
Yes.
Like people will come into the gallery and ask for one of us and get the other one, and it's yeah,
Yeah.
constant case of identity theft.
Yeah. Except in your case, I feel like it's maybe more insulting. And in my case, I'm like, well, thank you.
Yeah, I don't
I
care.
do own this gallery.
I think it's kind of funny. Like it's so I own a gallery, the Compass Gallery in
Yeah.
Provo. And, when I'm there doing business, I try to dress business like, but sometimes I'll just pop in to like fix something in the back or, maybe it's a day we're installing artwork. So I'm wearing paint covered sweatpants or something. And the number of times somebody's walked in and asked for the manager or asked for the boss or asked who's in charge and, people have pointed at me or I've said, "Oh, it's me," and they've kind of looked past me.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, where is the person in charge?
Yeah, or I'll be like working on something off to the side and I'll have people come in and they'll talk about like my work or talk about the gallery right in front of me because they don't know that I'm both the artist and the gallery.
Yeah.
So there's some advantages to it. Like I'm not offended when people don't know who I am because I like being incognito sometimes.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And also like, if you're watching, then you can see Esther's face, but if you're not, you don't know that she's got this, the Asian youthful glow. So
Mhm.
you are very young anyways, but like you look even more young. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they're like, so
Yeah.
where's the adult? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to be the adult
Yeah.
whether I want to or not. I heard a great phrase recently, Asian don't raisin. I
Yeah.
hadn't heard that one yet somehow.
Oh, really?
No.
Girl,
100%.
Asian don't raisin, black
Hey.
don't crack, white. Yeah.
Our condolences.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll move on, but we're half white, so
Yeah,
we're gonna.
I was like, it might come for us.
Yeah,
We're
that's one
playing
of the
with
Venn diagrams.
yeah, we're playing with fire here.
Yeah. that one of the Venn
Yeah.
diagrams is we're both artists.
Hmm.
We're both caramel ladies. You're half.
Half Filipino, Chinese, half white.
There you go. I'm half Peruvian, half white.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were both homeschooled
Yeah.
somehow.
So yeah, so
Hmm.
we'll share some embarrassing stories. I like starting, if we start embarrassing, then it tells you guys we're open. And it's only up from here then, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
If you
if we
know the
embarrass
worst of
ourselves
us
episode
and you
1,
still stick
yeah,
around, then yeah,
we're doing good.
yeah.
Yeah, so what's a funny or embarrassing story about growing up sheltered slash homeschooled?
I feel like so I was in and out of public school. And by in and out, I mean I was in twice and out every other time. So I was in for fourth grade, and then I was in like junior high. It was eighth grade, and a lot changes between fourth grade and junior high. So I went in there, and for the record, I love my mom. She didn't teach me how to dress though, because she's not about
Yeah.
that either. She's like, whatever. So I had no idea how to like dress myself and how to, kind of the way that you dress in junior high is going to be the people that you attract. So I wore all black because I was like, hey, that matches black, 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 and black, right?
It's a design-based decision.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, whatever. Very bright, happy kids skipping around in black clothes. And, the goth kids were super nice. They took me in and made me one of their own. And I was like, I have no idea how I got here. Because they'd be talking about stuff. I was like, I can't relate. I don't understand. So yeah, that was definitely a sheltered shock moment of, wait, am I goth? Wait, am I goth now? Yeah. So,
I was like, you are who your friends are. So
yeah, yeah. So I was
yeah,
very briefly, and it was fun. I liked it.
good times,
Mm.
good people. Mine is much later in life than yours, so possibly more embarrassing. Let's see. I think I've been home from my mission for a year.
Ooh,
So
Esther.
I
Ooh.
was 20, what, in 21 then? And I was staying with my great grandparents in California for the summer, helping them out with some stuff. And I went up to LA for the weekend to hang out with my cousin. And he and I'd been close all growing up, good friends. And we're like, oh, we'll just like spend the weekend watching some movies, hanging out, doing stuff. And so we'd like take a picture of him and his buddy and I all sitting on the couch together. And I posted it on Instagram with the caption, Netflix and chilling with my cousin.
No way.
Because
Oh.
I didn't know what it meant.
No way.
Well,
You're like, what in the sweet home, Alabama, Mormon?
I'd only heard my friends at college use it just kind of like jokingly. And, in hindsight, they were like joking.
Yeah.
But they like, oh, I'm going to go Netflix and chill with my boyfriend, which, I'm at a Mormon school. I'm like, oh, cool. You're just going to go sit on a couch and watch a movie with
Yeah.
your cousins. I'm
Gonna
like,
chill.
that's what this means.
Oh my gosh.
The worst part. So the post stayed up for 24 hours.
No way.
And
Oh.
I go to there's a family wedding the next day. And my aunt comes up to me and she's just dying. And she's like, I loved your Instagram post. I was like, of me and Brady on the couch? and she's like, you know what Netflix and chill means? And I was like,
Your aunt knew and you didn't know? That is hilarious.
well, like, this is the California side of the family.
Oh, okay.
This is the cool unhomeschooled side of the
Okay, say
family.
less.
I was the jungle child who was homeschooled in Hawaii. And she's like, you know what Netflix and chill means? I was like, watching a movie and hanging out. And she's like, and she explains it to me, and I was like, Aunt
Delete.
Jenny, I'm like, and you didn't like call me or like at least comment or message me? She's like, no, it was too funny. So, my dear cousin, I'm sorry. He is still very single, by the way, and very handsome. So if you know any ladies, we should set him up. We should bring him on for an episode. But yeah, I was definitely not Netflixing and chilling with my cousin. Yeah.
That's really funny though, and really, yeah, that's traumatic.
It took me like 10 years to be like to be unembarrassed enough to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was like, I can't even admit I did that. Now I'm like, hey, it was good times.
It happens, it happens. No, I think homeschool is such a unique experience because every
Mhm.
family homeschools so differently,
Mhm.
but at the same time,
There are some stereotypes that do carry through.
that absolutely do carry through.
Yeah.
100%.
And like, I don't think they're all bad either. Like, even that
No.
experience, the fact that there were certain parts of my life I was so sheltered that I was just innocent still. Like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it really equipped me to have big conversations with people from a young age
Mhm.
because I wasn't just associating with people my age. And so I had to learn how to have conversations with adults and,
Mhm.
engage with older cousins. And, I'm
Mm.
the oldest in my family. It's not really oldest siblings, but there's just a lot of responsibility and kind of social mobility in a different way than you get
For
in
sure.
the public school system.
For sure.
Yeah, you're still kind of awkward and clueless sometimes, but
Yeah.
I feel like the transition into college and working in professional spaces was actually easier for me than it
For
was for other
sure.
people in some ways.
For sure. No, that totally makes sense.
Okay, we're also artists. So,
Yes.
what when did you know, do you know, like that being an artist is your way of life, the thing you wanted to do?
So for me, I definitely I feel like I went back and forth on it, for a little while. Just because, growing up in a high demand religion,
Mm.
um it felt like something that I could do, secondary to fulfilling my gender role, right?
Mhm.
Within a religious space, right? Like, oh, and people were mostly supportive about it, where they were like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, you can be an artist because you'll just do little paintings
Mhm.
while you're a mom. But the older I got, the more I was like, you know what, like this is something that I think is like very serious, worthwhile, and yeah, deeply impactful for me, for society, to be an artist, to have, hard conversations through paint,
Mhm.
and, to, yeah, just to try to shape the world in the way that I want it, hope that it can
Mhm.
be through my art.
Yeah.
And so I feel like as I got older and I started realizing the power of art in that way, I started to want to be an artist more. And I love stories. I love fantasy. And so I did a lot of that growing up because I felt like the stories that we are told and the stories that we consume are, they're just so important. And I wanted to be in the room where it happened. I wanted to be making storyboards for, the next movie that was going to come out that was going to talk about, a social issue in an approachable way, a Zootopia, kind
Mhm.
of movie, things like that. Um
Racism, but bunnies.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, so I really wanted to be in those spaces. I wanted to be in the rooms where that was happening.
Mhm.
However, yeah, I feel like, it's a journey and stuff. While I was in college, that's when AI, came out. And also when I was in college, they kept on taking away all of the classes that prepared you for like storyboard
Mhm.
animation, to be in those spaces. So I pivoted pretty hard and started doing, like oil paintings. Because we're forced to take an oil painting class, an introduction to oil painting class. And I was like, this is gonna suck. And then I took it and I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like I love oil painting. And then I didn't do it for like a year. And then my last 2 years of college, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do what I want actually. So,
I love that
yeah,
both you and I had to be drugged kind of kicking and screaming into oil painting,
I know,
and that's what
right?
pays our bills now.
I know, right? It's so weird. It's weird how that
Mhm.
happens. But,
Yeah.
I'm also, yeah, I'm really grateful that it did happen for sure. Um, but yeah, I would say that I am still discovering what I want to do and be as an artist,
Mhm.
but I definitely know like art is in my bones.
Yeah.
I can't not create. My dad said that he walked in on me when I was like 3 years old and I was like on the floor on my stomach drawing circles, on a piece of paper. And he was like, Alondra, what? He has an accent. He was like,
You're like, "This isn't racist
yeah,
because
this
it's
is the
real."
reason because this is how he sounds. He said, like, Alondra, what are you doing? And I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, I'm doing my job, and then I just like kept on drawing circles. So I guess I always knew at that age, I was like, this is going to be my job. So
That's
yeah.
amazing.
What about you though?
Yeah,
Tell us about your kicking and screaming.
I know. I didn't plan on doing art all growing up because both my parents come from, like, art and design backgrounds, and, it's not cool to do what your parents do.
Yeah.
Um, Kinda stumbled into it in college, sort of, started out in sculpture, and then my sculpture program got discontinued, and so I
Mm.
ended up in painting, and again, kind of kicking and screaming, like, I cried my way through my first couple painting
Oh,
classes.
I'm sure. Oh my
It was
gosh.
brutal, and, I had a couple classmates in there with me who had gone to, like, really intense art programs in high school and, had been in the program in college for a year or two before me, and so, they kind of breezing through their assignments,
Mhm.
working hard, but like it wasn't a struggle for them. Meanwhile, I'm
Mhm.
over here just making mud puddles essentially.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that a tree? I don't know. Interpretation.
Yeah, yeah.
Open for it. Um, yeah, just really, really had to work my butt off to get to a point where I felt like I could even approximate, what was in my head onto the canvas, and it came slowly with time and blood and tears. Um, there's a couple moments that I feel like really clicked into place that vision of this is who God wants me to be.
Mhm.
That this is what God has given me opportunities and skill for, and that I need to work towards this.
Mhm.
And one of the funny things is one of those moments came from someone who was not particularly religious, not associated with church at all. I was dating a guy at the time, and it was a friend of his who was a very famous artist in the '70s and had retired to Hawaii. And we were out. I don't remember what we were doing. We were out just like for dinner together or something. And the guy I was dating pulled up my portfolio and showed it to this artist. And the
It
guy,
had to be nerve-wracking.
yeah.
He just pulls that out during dinner, you're like, "Honey,
I grew up with artists, so it actually maybe wasn't as scary as you think it would.
oh, okay, that's good."
It's quick side tangent. When I was in New York in art school there, my teacher would always say, he's like, if you want to hear good things about your art, call your mother. If you want to hear what you need to improve, that's why you're in class here. And I would always
Mhm.
giggle when he said that because I'm like, if I want to know what I've done wrong, I call my parents. It's like they're my worst critics, like in a good way. But I was like, they're not the type of like, oh, honey, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
like
so
it
funny.
wasn't terrifying, but I was just kind of like, oh, whatever, this guy's gonna be like, oh, it's fine. And I was kind of expecting him to be like, oh, you cute little college student.
Yeah.
But he actually gave me some like very thoughtful, like, oh, you did this well. And he's like, you have the right skill set to really go somewhere with this.
Mhm.
And it was interesting because I realized looking back, it was the first time, even though I've been doing classes, I think for about a year and a half, 2 years at that point, it was the first time somebody had looked me in the eye and said, you can do this as a job. And it had never clicked for me like that before.
Yeah.
Part of it was there's definitely some gender dynamics of, people weren't expecting me to have a career per se. They're like, oh, get an
For
education,
sure.
but don't have a career.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
and then also just the challenges of being a creative professional is challenging regardless of
Absolutely.
the background you're coming from. So yeah, that it flipped a switch for me of somebody, completely who had no motivation to make me feel good about my life.
Yeah.
But he chose to say, "Hey, look, you're doing some things right here," and it really changed my internal dialogue. The other moment that really switched something for me was it's about the same time in college. I'd done a big sculpture show. It was my first solo show I'd ever done. Um, I captioned the entire show with excerpts from my journal. I kept a very meticulous journal in college.
Mm.
A lot of just my interior dialogue, things I was going through, kind of faith crisis I was dealing with at the time,
Wow.
all the ups and downs of dating in college,
Yeah.
all the emotions associated with that. And I remember sitting on the floor the night before my show opened and staring at all those captions and thinking, "Oh, I'm screwed." Um,
Oh, no.
I
Oh,
was like,
no.
I was like, all my peers are gonna know how I feel and what I
Oh,
think, and
yeah.
like, oh,
Uh-huh. Ooh.
I can't have my heart and my mind and my soul out there like this. Like, why did I do this? But I felt so strongly a spiritual prompting that I was supposed to, that like
Mhm.
God needed me to be vulnerable like that.
Mhm.
So had the opening, went great, and as part of the show, I provided little note cards so people could write a note to someone they cared about and take it home with them. Because
Mm.
one of my big philosophies with art is that it should inspire you to do something for the better in the world.
Love that.
That if you engage with my work, that you should take it out and reflect it into somebody else's life.
Mm.
And so I wanted to very directly invite people to do that. Of like,
Mm.
hey, you experienced something here with my show. Now go create a positive connection with someone else.
Yeah.
What I was not expecting is that a lot of people left notes for me at the show, which is not at
Oh
all what
my
I was
gosh.
intending with that.
Yeah.
But I came back to this big fat stack of notes that people had left over the weekend. And in one of them, it said something to the extent of, whenever I have another dark night like this, I'll remember your artwork and find hope again. And I was just like,
Oh my gosh.
God, I hear you.
Yeah. Wow. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting emotional. Just,
Yeah.
yeah, that is so
And
beautiful.
I've kept that note, and it's framed and it hangs right next to my easel now, because there's definitely days when I want to burn my work.
Yeah.
There's days when I want to, throw in the towel and do something else.
For sure.
But there's just some spotlights when I look back that were such clear, no, this is where you need to be. This is
Mhm.
who you are. This is what you
Mhm.
need to be doing.
Mhm. I love that. That is so beautiful, number
Mm.
1, and number 2, you know, ultimately, I think as an artist, you have to be self-driven,
Mhm.
but man, don't those people in your life, who tell you how your art has changed them or, you know, encourage you in your art journey, aren't
Mhm.
those people just the best?
Yeah.
Don't we need those people? When you were talking about, being there at that restaurant and, this man looking at your portfolio and saying, "Hey, like you really could have a future here."
Mm.
Like, I feel like the person who was that for me was actually Howard
Mhm.
Lyon, because when I met him, I was just showing up to just model, right? And I knew who he was. I was
Yeah.
like, he doesn't know who I am. That's okay. I'm never, I wasn't gonna say anything about me as an artist or anything because that's not what I was there for.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to. I don't know. I'm always like I'm assertive if it's like a networking event, but if
Yeah.
it's not, I'm there for a job. I'm like, I'm here to do the job,
Mhm.
so I'm just gonna do it and leave. Anyway, so I went there to model, and he had followed me on Instagram or something like 2 days before, or something like that, before I showed up. And I remember I was like, "Oh my gosh, Howard Lyon just followed me!" And then I was like so embarrassed because like Howard Lyon just followed me. And
Like, don't look at my
yeah,
work.
he's looking at all this crappy stuff I've done. Anyway, and while I was modeling, he's asking me, like, what would you like to do? Like, I see you paint, like you do art and stuff, are you trying to be an artist and stuff? And I was like, oh well, I don't know,
About that.
yeah. I was like, in my head, I'm like, yes, but out loud, I was like, I mean, it would be pretty cool if that happened. Anyway, but then yeah, he said something, to the effect of, he was like, these are really good. He's like, you really have a lot of potential. Like you have like a future. And after, so many years of, hearing professors who they're only telling you, like what's wrong, like with your
Mhm.
pieces and stuff. And, in the same way that you're like, my parents are my worst critics and stuff,
Yeah.
like, my husband is my worst critic too. He's just
It's good
like,
he's cute.
yeah, I know, yeah, and he's so sweet or whatever, but yeah, I'll, like, finish painting, I'm like, "Oh, look at this." He's like, "Why is her head like that?" I'm like, "Bro, oh my gosh, you're killing me right now." So,
Mm.
anyway, so it was so it, like, switched something in me, I think probably pretty
It's a
similar
light
for you.
bulb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just like, "I can do this." Like, he thinks I can do this, so I guess I'm gonna do this. And after that, I've started to take myself a lot more seriously
Mhm.
and started to try a lot harder, with art, because really at the time I was in such a dark place where I was like, I cannot believe I've been in school for this long and I've wasted this many years of my life to not, because I wasn't really planning on even doing anything with my art anymore because I was like, for what?
Mhm.
Anyway, so I think that's really cool that we
Mm.
both have these
Yeah,
experiences.
paradigm shifts.
Yeah, yeah, totally, where there's a before and there's an after,
Yeah.
right?
And I don't know about you, but I feel like for me too, because I didn't grow up in a community with other professional artists.
Yeah.
Like there's one guy that my parents went to college with who'd, moved to another state. I'd hear stories about him sometimes. And then there was two other guys, they were kind of family friends who they do local stuff,
Mm.
but it wasn't anything that you'd like I'd consider, oh, that's like a serious career in the arts.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't feel like I had any templates.
Yeah.
Especially as a woman, I didn't have any
Oh,
templates.
100%, yeah.
And so it felt like I was starting from scratch and I had no frame of reference for how do I know if I have what it takes?
Yep.
How do I
Mhm.
know if I'm heading in the right direction?
Mhm.
And my professors in college were overall really amazing, but
Mhm.
you know, that's not always what their skill set or experience is for,
For
is
sure.
contextualizing you in the professional space. I
Mhm.
think it should be, but
Mhm.
that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down. But yeah, it's just I I felt like I was alone in a sea of like I'm here with something that feels like I need to do something with
You have
it.
this desire, you have this go ahead from God and 0 roadmap. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like, "Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I'll just run for it." No, I totally get that. I hear you. And yeah, it's really nice now being in this space, where there are a lot of artists in this community where
Mhm.
you have more of a framework of like what potential careers could look like. Um, yeah, but definitely, as women, especially, in a gender rolled religion, right? A high demand religion,
Mhm.
it can be so hard to know what is the path. What does
Mhm.
that look like then as a female artist? And art itself is everyone's career in art is so different too,
Yeah.
and how they got there is also so
Mhm.
different that, yeah, it's really hard to to know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
And I would say if bringing religion into that conversation as
for
well,
sure.
because for me, I felt very strongly that I was supposed to be doing religious work.
Absolutely.
And that was kind of part of the irony of having this, non-religious artist be the person who really turned me into doing professional work. And then I
Mhm.
spent the next 10 years painting Jesus.
Yeah.
Which for me, like, is such a testament of how God can speak through anyone. That if
100%.
your heart, if your ears are open, that God will speak through whatever opportunity is in front of you. And you
Absolutely.
just need to be open to that. And it's not always through the people you expect.
Mm.
Um,
Also that, sorry, but also
yeah.
that God is gonna he's gonna speak to you,
Mhm.
right? So, even though other people in your life might have told you like, hey, you're
Yeah.
23 or something, you should be getting married and having kids. God knows you, and
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? God,
Yeah.
he's like, you have some,
Yeah,
there's a different path for you. Yeah.
exactly. And, like, I didn't avoid dating or getting married,
Yeah.
I was very socially active in college and just
Hmm.
nobody I met could handle me. We'll go with that. Um, but I remember very clearly it was like the second semester before I graduated.
Hmm.
A very well-meaning family member pulled me aside and said, "Maybe you should focus less on your grades and focus more on finding a husband."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Girl, I'm dating."
Yeah.
I'm like trying over here. Um,
Oh, that's such a harmful
Also,
thing
my
to
straight A's
say.
are what's paying for my college
Yep.
because I'm on scholarship. So yeah, but balancing that because also recognizing, a lot of the art space can be fairly anti-religious.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so that was something I had to navigate as well as I was like, okay, I want to move into being a professional artist. And as I started, kind of poking aside that curtain, being like, oh wow, that's not actually very welcoming to who I feel
Mhm.
like I am as a whole person.
Mm.
And so trying to navigate that aspect of it as well.
Oh, yeah. I admire you because I just feel like you have so much tenacity, so much grit, and it really, I don't know, as, a younger emerging artist, I just graduated a year ago, guys. Give me some time to cook. It definitely was, encouraging to see someone so deep in that
Yeah.
space. Yeah. I just thought it was really cool. So,
Well,
you're a
I'm
cool person.
I'm glad we're here together.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say another thing we have in common is we're both kind of nerds. And I feel like
Yeah.
the older I get, the more I accept that and the more I find really amazing friend groups that accept that as well. And it's a great place to be in
It's
life.
such a great place to be in life.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm automatically friends with someone or like with a couple if they're nerdy because I'm just like, oh, so you're fun
Yeah.
and you're nice and cool and accepting. Okay, I guess we're friends now.
You don't care
It
what
just,
other people think about
yeah,
you.
exactly. I'm like, it's such a breath of fresh air. It's a great vetting process for
Yeah.
finding cool people.
Okay, so we need some case studies. What qualifies us? And there's a spectrum of nerdiness. And
Absolutely. I feel like you are kind of more of a nerd than I am in like the bookish nerd way, for sure.
I'm like teacher's pet kind of nerd.
Yeah. 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 And then for me, I'm definitely more nerd in, Lord of the Rings,
Hmm.
video games, whatever, the whole fantasy realm. Yeah, I got my toes in. Maybe my knees. Maybe my whole body.
That sounds like denial. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love
You
the
have been fully
space.
immersed.
Yeah, I've been baptized into that, into those waters.
Okay, so what's a case study? What can prove your nerdiness to our audience?
Well, I'm not gonna prove anything because
You don't
then
need
I'm
to.
gonna get people. There we go. See, and people being like, "When did he break it?" Actually, I can tell you exactly when Aragorn broke his toe in the. But everyone can tell you that. Okay, in the Lord of the Rings movies. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like some nerdy things that I really, really love is obviously I love Lord of the Rings. I think it's phenomenal. Just great, great storytelling. I really love I love Harry Potter,
Classics.
Super fun. Yep, it's a classic. Yeah, when it comes to like books, obviously a Brandon Sanderson fan. I've read almost all of his books. Any book I can get my hands on, but the holds are
Mhm.
very long in the library, so you gotta wait a while. And then of course I really love video games. So I grew up playing The Legend of Zelda, and my most recent game that I've been playing, I'd say like top 3 games. I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I love Baldur's Gate, and I really love. Right now, I'm playing Expedition 33, and it's probably the best game I've maybe played ever. Just really great. So, anyway, if you can just throw me into an amazing fantasy world with a great storyline and great characters, like, oh, I'm there. Like, I'm so there. It's awesome. What about you, though?
I'll say like I huge fan of the fantasy classics. I grew up on C.S. Lewis, Lord of the Rings, and all of that.
Mhm.
But I'll give you a story that quantifies my academic nerdiness. So growing up, I grew up in the Pacific, lived in Hawaii most of my life, spent some time in the Philippines, and was really obsessed with marine biology. Thought that's what I was going to do with my life, and started building a shell collection. So whenever we'd travel, I'd collect different shells. I also inherited my great grandfather's collection that he built when he was an officer in the Navy. Um, and as part of this, I, from scratch, created my own cataloging system for my shell collection,
I'm dead. Oh my
complete
gosh.
with like a whole like numbering system that could expand and contract as needed for like the different families and genuses,
No way.
with indications of where I found them and what condition they were when they were
Girl.
found. I had a binder with all my catalog in it. There's a reason I didn't have a lot of friends when I was 16. But the hilarious part of all of this is, uh, in grad school, I was about a year and a half into grad school, and there's some crazy stuff going on at my school, so I needed to find a new job. And I started interviewing a whole bunch of places. And I was just anywhere. I was like, I just need to make this amount an hour per hour. These are the hours I can work. Where will take me? And I ended up applying for a registrar job at a museum at the University of Virginia, which is a very prestigious school.
Yeah.
I did not think I was going to get the job. I was like, I'm not qualified for this. It was a temp position. I was filling in for somebody who was on maternity leave, but I was like, yeah, what the heck? We'll apply. We'll see what happens. And they pull me in for the interview, and they're like, okay, so what background do you have working in museums? I was like, I know art. I
I like art.
I like art. I know how to handle art because
Artsy girl.
I've
Yeah.
I've been working in this space for a couple years now. And they're like, okay, what do you know about catalog systems? I was like, so I made my own catalog system from scratch when I was 16, and I explained the whole system to them. And they basically said, okay, you're hired.
No way. That's amazing.
you know, and so I ended up working for the term while the full time registrar was on maternity leave, and then when she came back, they offered me a full time job. I ended up taking it because I wanted to do something else. But that's my claim to fame, is that my self
Wow.
made catalog system got me a job at the University of Virginia.
That is crazy. That's actually so
Yeah,
cool.
and I loved it. It was a great experience, and it turns out that like my weird obsession with organizing things turned out really handy
There you go.
in that profession.
There you go. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, I would have hired you too. Yeah. I've been like, okay.
I might have also sent me for a mental check, but
I know. We're signing up for therapy and also this job. Yeah.
yeah.
Sign here. No, I love that. That's hilarious. And we've already touched on this,
Mhm.
but it needs to be reiterated. We are caramel ladies.
Mhm.
So we come from a mixed race background, and we also come from a background where we both have been visited by the red moon rising. So, you know, we got a lot in common.
Yeah.
So I am really curious. Um, what, like, how was it growing up mixed race? Like, do you think it influenced you at all? That's more rhetorical question. I know
Mhm.
it did.
Yeah.
So why don't you share that?
Yeah, I remember having this epiphany when I was about 15. I came to my mom and I said, "I know why I don't fit in anywhere. I know I don't have friends." And yeah, I would love to be in my mother's shoes in this conversation. I was like,
She's like, your shell collection. I mean, what?
yeah, I was like, where do I start? I was like, I have the academic background of a white American. I have the work ethic of an Asian American immigrant. And I have the social, like, cultural construct of a Polynesian because I grew up in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and I'm Mormon. It's like, I don't fit in anywhere. And And it was actually a really freeing realization
Mm.
because I'd spent so much of my early teens being like, well, if I just push myself more this way or more that
Yeah.
way, then people will accept me and I'll feel like I found my tribe and I'll
Mhm.
be able to build a better friend group. And
Mhm.
the minute I woke up and said, hey, God put me in a really interesting Venn diagram of life,
Mhm.
and that's not going to change. I'm not going to change, in that way.
Mhm.
And I need to figure out why that's my superpower. And that was a paradigm shift for me. And
Mhm.
it's something that deeply influences the way that I view my work as an artist, as a
Mhm.
community leader, because I feel like I've spent every day of my life since I was born with one foot in two different worlds in many ways.
Mhm. 3 different worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask my multiple
You're
personalities.
spread on your
Yeah. It's a game of Twister over here. Um, but I feel like the superpower that I realized that is it allowed me to empathize with and to see perspectives that might sometimes be hard for other people because
Mhm.
they're solidly in one space or another space.
Yeah.
And so that belonging that I was so hungry for so much of my teenage years can actually hold people back.
Yeah.
And by not
Absolutely.
belonging, it allowed me to help understand people who also felt left out
Mm.
and who felt alone, or to understand maybe how to start conversations that build bridges
Mhm.
because I could reach both sides in ways that others couldn't.
Mhm. I love that. I think that's amazing, and it is relatable in
Mhm.
that I don't think I grew up with as many cultural influences as you. Actually, I know I didn't. I was Peruvian and this Mormon Utah whiteness, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that was really my background where I was coming from. But so I remember growing up in a Spanish branch and getting bullied, right, by the other Spanish kids, because
Mhm.
we were not Spanish enough, right?
Yeah.
But then like if I went to a white ward, right? We were actually treated very well, but it's because of our whiteness. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That we were treated pretty well,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that was always kind of a hard what's that called? Oh yeah, that was kind of a hard tightrope to walk,
Mhm.
trying to figure out, okay, well, I'm not Latina. I felt right. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm not Latina, but I'm also not white. Because if I tell people, oh yeah, I'm white, they're like, but you're
No.
not white. Yeah. So it was like I don't know what to tell people, when they ask, because people always ask, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, what are you? We like to categorize things.
Mentally unstable.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm tripping is what I
Yeah.
am. Yeah, no. So, well, maybe. But something that I found that I think you have also found too is just the power of creating your own culture. Like
Mhm.
because I wasn't married to one culture or another, if there are harmful cultural practices in one, like in white culture, it's like reject that. I'm not just not going to do it. And
Mhm.
then harmful cultural practices in Latino culture, reject that as well. I'm not going to do it. And my husband, he's half Tongan and half white, and so he also, we've also gone through that kind of cultural purging of like these parts of the yeah these parts of our identity that we've had
Mhm.
growing up, like we can recognize like that they're doing more harm than good to us, so we're
Yeah.
just going to cut them off. Whereas I think it would be a lot harder if I was just deeply entrenched in just one
Yeah.
culture or the other. Yeah,
Makes it kind of a zero sum
exactly,
thing.
exactly. Who
Yeah.
am I if I'm not
Mhm.
blank? But growing up that way, you just
Like, I'm
like
already confused, so
yeah,
might as well
yeah,
lead into it.
yeah, exactly. And you just grow up, you're like, I'm me,
Yeah.
I'm me, and that's the only person I can be, and that's the person that I know best.
Mhm.
And yeah, just having that mind, that mental shift, I think helped a lot with, trying to navigate my own moral compass and like
Mhm.
the things that I value, but also, to your point, opening up the door so that a lot of other people could feel welcome in my presence, and
Yeah.
know that they belonged here, and it's
Mhm.
totally fine, to be different
Yeah.
and multicultural. So,
I will say it's also really great to be able to travel and kind of blend in
yes.
almost anywhere you go.
Yes, racially ambiguous is
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah, we're going to Spain this summer,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
You'll
"Hola, cómo está?"
Yeah.
It's me. Yeah, they're never gonna know. They're never gonna find
Never. Not at all.
out.
No clues
Yeah.
whatsoever. Um, I just lost my train of thought.
Eh,
I had something really intelligent I was going to say.
I believe you. I really do.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Believe women.
Yeah. Believe when we say we're smart, we mean it.
Um, Give me a second. It's been a
I can
long
move. Yeah,
day.
yeah, no. I'm like, think about it, and if you can't, I'll move on. But
Yeah. Okay, move on. I will come back to me if it's important.
okay. Okay. Well, I guess then, yeah. So I guess just to kind of finish off, because we kind of talked about, how it is to be
Mhm.
multicultural, female, artist, homeschool background, all of these different things. Um, I'm curious, you know, we've already talked about why we're making this podcast. Who is this podcast for?
It's a good question.
This is to finish it off.
Um, yeah, I I do want to loop back to like women's narratives just a little bit.
Okay.
I think
Let me redo that then, so that we
yeah,
could
because
just
I
go
just
right
remembered what
into
I was
it.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then I'll read my. Let me turn this over so I can read the thing I was gonna read.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, we
Okay.
can flow into that a little
Wait.
bit better.
Make sure my glasses are at the ready
Yeah.
that I don't actually use, but we won't tell them that.
Yeah. They don't have to know.
Okay.
Yeah, so since you and I grew up in this multicultural background, the last thing that we have in common, and we've kind of touched on it already,
Mhm.
is that we're women.
Mhm.
And that comes with a whole other bag of experiences, some awesome, some less than awesome. What has your experience been?
Complicated, beautiful at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think going back to why are we doing this podcast now?
Yeah.
I feel like specifically as a Latter-day Saint or, Mormon woman, if you want to call it that too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're in the spotlight right now.
For sure.
There's so much national attention on what it means to be a woman, especially a woman in our church
For
or,
sure.
in our cultural tradition. And I feel like there's a couple stereotypes that have bubbled to the surface,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't relate to any of them.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got sort of the rebellious influencer type,
Yeah.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and all of that. And you've got the trad wives.
Yeah.
And then, you've got kind of the apologist group and all these different like subsections of like, this is what it looks like to be an LDS woman.
Yeah.
And there's elements, I think, of almost all of those that I can relate to.
Yeah.
But not one. And so what I hope we do with this podcast is provide some space, some funny, cozy space
Mm-hmm.
for women who might be having that same experience
Mm-hmm.
of, I like making sourdough, but I also love my career,
Yeah. I also want to wear pants to church.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to go to church.
Yes.
Like I can contain multitudes.
Yes.
And I feel like as a woman, that's kind of part of your identity.
Yeah.
Is that you contain multitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Hermione's quote from Harry Potter? Like, not all of us have the emotional capacity of a teaspoon.
Yeah. Oh, Hermione.
Yeah, she's our queen. But yeah, I just want to make space for that and to celebrate that in all the different ways that it can look.
I love that. There's a quote by Jasna Colin. So a quote by Brandon Sanderson. I don't remember exactly what it said. I don't know the words perfectly. I feel like that
Forgive
one
us,
meme.
Brandon.
Yeah. I feel like that one meme where he's like, this man said something to me and I'll never forget what he said. I just forgot what he said. Yeah. But basically what she says is there's not one right role for a woman beside the role that she creates for herself.
Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, anyway, I feel like that is absolutely that's being spoken about more. I don't personally, I did not feel like women were seen as people. And I think by a lot of people, women still aren't being seen as people, but we are full people. We have a full plethora to us, right? We're not just one thing or another, especially for women in high demand religions, right?
Yeah.
We're not just one thing or another. And so, yeah, I think this space is really important for coming and bringing in women's stories, women's, just their diverse experiences with faith, with
creativity.
yes, creativity, art, just all of it. So I love that we're able to have this space, and I love that we found each other because it was like, okay, there's other women like this out there.
Yeah.
So we're good.
We've made each other feel less alone, so our goal is to help our listeners feel the same way too.
Yes.
Right?
And if not, then, just
we'll have fun and drink some tea occasionally.
Exactly. Precisely. So to finish off, this podcast is for you if you meet several criteria.
Yes.
What would you say is a criteria?
So Professor Esther is going to educate you now. So this podcast is for you if, as a teen, your value is compared to bubblegum, a rose, or an apple, and you are still recovering.
I'm still recovering.
We're also recovering. If your first movie crush had a half up, half down hairdo, regardless of gender. We'll put some good photos on the screen here. If there's a 5-word book or movie quote that will make you cry every time. And last but not least, most importantly, if you think chocolate is fiber, protein, and fat, and therefore a full meal,
then this podcast is for you. So ultimately, we hope that you guys are able to come and enjoy tea with us. We hope you brew some tea yourself while you listen. And just take part of these conversations with us.
I just want to close with kind of a reference back to the tea metaphor. I love this idea that we've come together around a communal pot.
Yes.
And that we're going to bring different things to put into the pot.
Yes.
And that some weeks those things might be sweet. Some weeks those things might be spicy. Sometimes they might be bitter but healing. But that we're here gathering together and sharing them together. And we're excited to have you share with us. So if you'd like to contribute your stories, if you want to sponsor us with tea or cakes or sundries,
books,
corsets,
yeah,
we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to build this community, and we're looking forward to connecting with you.
You can find us anywhere that you can get your podcasts.
Yeah.
We also have an Instagram, and we have this YouTube channel. So feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for next week's episode. I think every episode is just going to get better as we, figure out what we're doing. So you're going to love it.
See you next time, tea hags.
See you guys. Bye, tea hags. If you like being called a tea hag. Thank you so much for joining our tea party. Tune in every 2 weeks on Mondays for more tea. We'll see you then.